Okay, Nestor.
Yes, sir.
To the agents out there, it's not you. It's the market. However, if you haven't been doing what you should have been doing, now it's you.
I was about to say, then it's you. So for most of you guys, it is you.
If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're still feeling it, and you're wondering, is it me?
Right.
And the answer is no, it isn't you. But your opportunity, your gold, is not disappearing. It's saying, I'm going to double down and get through this.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. I don't know how to respond to that. I'm going to go with it is you. And those of you out there know who I'm talking to. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking in a mirror myself as well. So it's not just you. And I say this, you know, we all wake up every morning with doubt. We look at the market and we're talking real estate people. We look at the market and we look at the situation and we have doubt. Will this ever change? Will this, you know, am I doing the right things? You know, I got to change my marketing plan. I got to change this. I got to change that. This isn't working. Yes. Heard it all. Guess what? It is working if you work it. It may not be working the way that you like right this moment, but it is working.
Love that. It is working if you're working it.
Exactly. So, you know, in today's subject, we're going to be talking about scripts a little bit, sort of. Obviously, this was unscripted, but it's interesting. The direction that you took this, my 2 cents on scripts is I feel like too many people are too scripted.
My feeling is that people don't have enough conversations.
Yes. It's because they're scripted.
You don't get smooth unless you have a lot of conversations.
That is true.
And so I think people underestimate that. And they're like, I got this. And they don't realize how much they're fumbling and what a little bit of practice, bantering will do to smooth you out and make things a lot easier.
You know, this conversation comes up often for us because we role play, and it's interesting in part of seeing in the practice and the things of that nature. One of the things that I would say to be good at scripts, the very first thing you need to do is become a very, very good listener.
100%.
And I think that's where most people fall short.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you don't believe me, pay attention. Go into some role plays. Go on Clubhouse. There's plenty of places that you can go into role play situations, and you know, be a fly on the wall and see how often an objection is given and the agent has gone like in an entirely different direction of, you're talking about this and they said this. And because when you're sitting on the outside looking, you're like, you don't realize that really what's happening is that agent is really just trying to figure out how they can say the next thing they wanted to say.
Yes.
And
they're trying to steer the client back to their script.
Right.
Instead of listening.
Instead of listening and actually handling what the true situation or objection is. And you know, I blame a lot of that on the industry. And I think so often that our industry, one of the things that I look at our industry, one of the things that we've done is that we have become really, really good at a few key coaches that are out there, no name dropping, but who have placed systems in place in front of so many agents that we've all accepted this is the right way. And I question, is it really the right way? Or is it just the way everybody's doing it, so we've made it the right way? And I really think there's a big difference between the two, and it's forgotten. And especially now as our business continues to evolve, relationships are becoming even more and more important now and have been forgotten. And everybody's after that next sale, that next sale, that next sale, and forgets about everything that's in between and what's coming before that. That is out there throwing out a bunch of rhetoric and, screaming next a lot because the person said no to them and they don't understand why the person said no.
Yeah. Never did like that. I think with role playing too, or what was the topic of this? Scripting? Scripts.
Yeah.
Okay. So scripts and role play.
Do you have your scripts in place?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's so much more. And I was just thinking about, you mentioned that we do role play. So here in the office, you conduct a role play class that is extremely unique and powerful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But there's so many different facets to it. It's not just about throwing something out and saying, all right, do we have our script ready to go? Or have you said it to me enough that you know exactly what you're going to say? And what made me think of this is I came down to your office yesterday and I'm like, hey, I got this situation. What are your thoughts on how I deal with this? And we didn't really role play at all. I walked in trying to do a role play, but then that ended really quick. And then we just talked about, well, why would we do this? And what are we trying to achieve? And I took those notes and they were so powerful. And I was able to use them very quickly, as opposed to sitting there trying to banter with you, which probably would have left me not listening to people and gave me a direction as to, okay, now I know I can go with this, have a good conversation. And I feel honesty is probably the best thing.
It is.
Like we always think, oh gosh, people don't know why I'm going to call. So what am I going to do? I got to say something so it doesn't look like I'm calling. Just be honest.
Yep.
Just say it straight up. And you know what? You usually get the best response from that.
Absolutely. Travis, this one's a business call. Okay. Now you know what to expect.
Yeah.
So, and something as simple as that, and bringing people forget that part of our, part of a script and part of having that conversation is how can we bring the defenses down so we can actually get to what it is that we want to get to.
Yes.
Yes, we are trying to help somebody if they want to buy or sell a house. We are trying to be the person that's helping them move forward with that. But until we get those defenses down so that we can have that conversation, we've got absolutely nothing. And easiest way to get the defense down is, you're right, be honest, be forthright, bring it right out. Hey, it'd be a lot easier for me to call you. We talk about agents. This makes no sense and nobody will ever coach you this way. But if you're trying to recruit agents and you make that phone call and the first words out of your mouth, yep, I'm calling to try to recruit you. It's on the table.
Honest.
Right? And what are they going to say to that? Not interested? Okay. You know where you're at, but at least we know what we're talking about from the very beginning. At least we know that there's no game playing or anything going on here. And if the defenses can come down, we can truly find out whether or not we're a good fit or if there's an opportunity there. And if there is no opportunity, fantastic. But I can't do it unless I'm able to be transparent with you and you're able to be transparent with me.
Probably think this is a recruiting call, don't you? Yep, you're right.
Exactly.
But I'm not looking to recruit you today. That's not my intention. Right. I just wanted to call up and have a conversation with you. I don't know if you're a good fit for me or I'm a good fit for you.
Exactly.
Mr. Seller, how you doing? Probably not the first person that's knocked on your door and think I'm going to sell you something, right? Nope. Hey, you know what? I work this neighborhood. I'm just looking to bring value to people. I hope that one day, if you're thinking of selling, I'll at least get the opportunity to speak with you.
Right.
But right now, I just want to say hi, see you face to face, and let you know if there's anything I can do for you. Here's my contact information. How are things going? What's going on in the neighborhood today?
Perfect. Now, here's what I find interesting, or what people need to understand. There's probably 150,000 different ways to say that exact same thing.
Absolutely.
And here's where I feel like people get stuck, is they will take that and they'll feel like they need to make that exactly their own. Oh, what did he say? Let me rewind that and let me memorize it, and boom, that's now me. But it's really not you. And that's where people make that mistake of, hey, take the concept, use your own words. And when you do that, then you're at the point where you're coming across as transparent and authentic, and the people, they open up. So I couldn't do that because that's just not my style. Now, I would have the same conversation and I can say the same thing, but I would say it completely different. That's who we are.
How you doing? Yeah. Do I look like a window salesman?
Right.
Nope, I'm not. Actually, I'm the realtor here in the neighborhood. How you doing today? Get a little chuckle, make them laugh.
Correct.
Who said that? We're comedians. Someone said that. I think it was Quintovius Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who says that. We're not salespeople. We're comedians.
Can be. My door knocking script used to be, I always used to come with something of value. And I tell this story often. Listing and a sale. Actually, they sold and they actually ended up buying something else because I was walking through the neighborhood telling them that we were going to have a power outage. And everybody looks at me and says, well, what does having a power outage have to do with selling a property? And it had absolutely nothing to do with selling a property, except I happened to knock on a door that it was a Saturday or the next day. They were having a birthday party for their 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and they didn't realize that they weren't going to be able to inflate the bounce house without power. And the wife looked at me and said, power outage, started yelling at her husband and said, did you know about this? How are we going to do this? And how are we going to do that? And at that time, crazy story, I just closed an escrow with somebody else who owned a rental company that did heavy equipment. And I called him up and I said, I need a generator. And he said, absolutely, anything for you, because he was the happiest guy in the world because he had just closed escrow for he and his wife. Went over there, picked up a generator, and I was the savior that day for them, and so that they can have their party. And it turned into a listing and a sale in the future. Was I bringing value to everybody in the community? No, most of the people already knew. That was most of the conversation. Yeah, we know. But there was one, and it was easy to have the conversation because I just felt like I was bringing something. And I wasn't asking you if you were willing to buy or you wanted to buy or sell right now. No, fantastic. If you were going to move, where would you move? Yeah, now you see the direction I went there? Yes, that works, but that's not necessarily the most effective way to do our business. Just my thoughts.
It depends what you're doing.
True.
If you're farming in an area and people know you and you're just layering your marketing,
right?
That's fantastic. I did that once with the Watch the Water. You ever seen that program?
Mm-mm.
It's where you put a lanyard around your neck and you're in charge of the pool.
Oh, okay.
Your eyes are on the pool. You're not doing anything else.
Got
You got to go to the bathroom. If you got to go get a drink, you got to do whatever. You have to find someone to put that lanyard around their neck.
Gotcha.
So you always had somebody watching the pool.
Okay.
And I discovered this at some meeting. And I think it was a summer where there had been, a lot of drownings. People don't realize it, that right here in Orange County, we don't really hear about it, but kids drown in pools every year. And so this person presented it and I was like, how do I get those? Like, oh, we'll give them to you for free. I said, how many can I get? Like, as many as you want? All right, I'll take 100. And they got them to me and I just went around. I'm like, and I literally thought, and this kind of goes back. This is gonna be a big roundabout, but back to scripting isn't only what are you going to say.
Right.
It's a lot about how you're going to present it, how you're going to do it. And so I was like, well, I want to find the people with pools. Am I going to have to go on like Google Maps and mark all the houses that have pools so I can knock on their doors? I'm like, oh my God, why am I being such an idiot? Every door.
Yep.
Knock, knock. Hey, I'm here. I just wanted Travis Barron, Remax from Realty. Just want to share with you this Watch the Water program. Summer's here. Just want to make everybody make sure they're staying safe. Do you have a pool in the house? Nope, we don't. Oh, wonderful. Do you know anyone who does that might benefit from this program? So one little thing, you think about what you're doing or how you're going to say it, you adjust it and make it happen.
That's funny because the first thing that came to my mind is you're going to knock on that door and they're going to say, nope, I don't have a pool, but can I have 3? Because my son has a pool, my so-and-so has a pool, and I need to get this.
And I had people do that. Absolutely.
Yep. Provided value. Yep. And here's what's interesting. Notice he said who he was and who he was with. But here, I bet you this. If you never said who you were or who you were with, everybody would ask, what do you do?
Probably.
They would have.
They never tested it.
Yeah. They would have probably asked, who are you and what do you do? Oh.
And you got a card? Exactly. They probably asked for your card.
Exactly. And I think that's the part that people forget, that we always have to say who we are or there's ways, if you stare at his jacket, I can tell he's a real estate agent or at least involved in real estate because of the little balloon, because somebody else has spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to make that symbol worldwide known. And they've done that so we don't have to. And a lot of that's forgotten. Like we can get on a podcast right now, and whether or not it's a cup in front of us that says a name brand, or we're wearing a hat or whatever, or we're door knocking and we've got a hat on, whatever, that says these things, we can say what we do without actually saying what we do.
Exactly. So, that's a beautiful thing. All right. So scripting, role playing, how you present it, I think it's just doing it, time and grade.
Absolutely. Over and over and over again. I was telling Travis, one of the things that I do when I want to learn a new technique, I write it on the mirror. Write it on the mirror, and I look at it at least twice a day that I see it. And it takes me 2 minutes, 3 minutes to let it run through my head over and over and over again until it becomes habit. And then at some point it will pop up and a use will come for it. And here's the thing that people misunderstand. The use doesn't come doesn't come in the form of, boom, here's a moment where I can use that exact line. It's like it just naturally flows out, and some variation of that, because you've owned it now. And once you've owned it,
we're talking about the same things over and over again with people every day. It's in transactions, we're doing it because we get the exact same questions. In prospecting, we're doing it because we get the exact same questions. In meeting with clients, talking about contracts, we get the exact same questions. And so it's just a matter of getting comfortable with those responses and being confident with them.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, with role play, I think that what's so important with that is it's kind of like a mastermind almost.
It is.
Because it's, hey, I know what I need to say, but I want to see how other people say it. Yep. Or how they approach this situation. And that's why you can ask probably my son here, or you can ask my wife. I'm like, nope. I always go down and ask Nestor when I'm going to do something, because we just think differently.
Right.
And so not every time I get something magical out of it, but so many times I'll be like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
It's about the different perspective. Mm-hmm. And it's likewise, it's having more than one perspective on the situation, and then it's being able to read the situation and what's on the other end so that okay. Here's the thing. We have a conversation, and at the end of the day, you can be in front of person A. That conversation we had, everything we talked about won't resonate with them.
Yep.
Or what your original thought process will resonate with them and what I said won't, or vice versa. But when we've practiced it enough, now we have a better understanding and be able to listen to them so that we can hopefully present them with the best opportunity to lower that barrier so that we can actually get to the end result. And that's have a conversation. That's not the sale.
Yes.
So, yes.
Having a better arsenal for sure.
Exactly. So anyway, would love your thoughts on this. Like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And until next time, thank you guys.